Parker Schnabel, a teenager mining in Bolivia, embarks on a daring journey to find gold. He compares the process to playing the lottery, with the excitement of potentially making a fortune or leaving him with nothing but dirt. The team, consisting of Tyler, Diego, and Danny, is determined to find the perfect spot for the gold to settle. They make improvements to their sluice box, which they believe is the right one for the job. However, chaos ensues when the pump starts acting up, and Parker loses control of a loose pipe.
I can go down and start setting the pump up and all that shit. This is pretty straightforward.
Yep.
I would wrap the carpet over the top and nail it to the bottom of the front.
Tyler, Diego, and Danny scramble around trying to make the machine work while he supervises. Despite the chaos, they remain optimistic about their chances of success. At least a quarter of a gram is needed to justify continuing the operation. They manage to pull about 500 milligrams, or a third of a gram per yard of dirt, which puts them on par with his Yukon site. As night falls, they gather around a small fire, eating a hurried meal. There's a sense of camaraderie among the crew, as they all lean into Parker's dream of finding gold. The next morning, they return to the sluice box with its AstroTurf liner, and continue to work tirelessly. Parker points out flecks of gold as they settle in the sluice, giving him enough evidence to keep the operation moving forward. Danny's job is to clear out the rocks that clog the sluice, and despite the tedious tasks, everyone plays a role. Parker's teamwork is evident, even if he's the one doing most of the talking and dreaming. Parker has his eyes on a specific stretch of ground that he thinks could be the jackpot. He shares his reasoning, throwing out phrases about gold settling at natural low points, but it's all a bit of a gamble. The crew is willing to give it a shot, even if they're running mostly on faith. They move the operation down to this new spot, resetting the sluice box and repositioning the pump. A faint glint of relief breaks into the crowd, and they let out a collective sigh of relief. It's not a fortune, but it's something. And for now, that's enough. They keep running dirt, piling wheelbarrow after wheelbarrow into the sluice, and bit by bit, they start to accumulate a small collection of flakes. Parker's excitement grows, feeding off each tiny success, each glimmer in the sluice. The day wears on, and the sluice box fills with dirt and debris. The crew takes turns clearing it out, making sure the AstroTurf isn't getting clogged. It's dirty, back-breaking work.
We want to know what the mining potential is, so that's why it's really important we do some bulk testing. There's a lot of pressure on this sluice box, and there's a lot of pressure on today.
But there's an unspoken understanding that they're all part of something bigger. Their shared vision is what drives them. And even when it seems like they're just shoveling dirt into a homemade contraption, there's that glimmer of hope that maybe, just maybe, they'll strike it big. The sluice box starts to show its worth, and by late afternoon, they've managed to collect enough gold to fill a small vial. For their leader, it's proof of concept, and he can't help but smile, knowing that this is just the beginning of a long, uncertain journey. Parker Schnabel, a gold miner and TV personality, has turned his hobby into a multi-million-dollar empire. His origin story is like something straight out of a movie script. A young, ambitious teenager taking over his grandfather's gold mine in Alaska. He was not even old enough to legally drink. But there he was, elbow-deep in mud, running an operation that would make most adults run for the hills. With every setback and every piece of broken equipment, he just kept doubling down. Somehow it worked. It wasn't purely luck either. Although, let's face it, a lot of people would have failed miserably. He was sharp. He took every penny he earned and poured it right back into the next big claim or the next shiny piece of equipment. Somehow, it worked. Fast forward a few years, Parker isn't just messing around in Alaska anymore. He's setting his sights on the Yukon, and now we're talking about some serious money. The amount of planning, effort, and sheer cash it takes just to keep the machines running is enough to make anyone want to quit. Dominion Creek is a serious operation, with daily operating costs that'll make your head spin and deadlines that feel like a ticking time bomb. There's no room for error, and he has a 6-year clock ticking to turn this investment into something more than just an elaborate money pit. It appears that Parker is not content with only excavating in North America. He also requires the excitement of the journey. Enter Parker's Trail, a story in which our favorite risk-taker makes the decision to go all over the world in search of the next big sparkling find. While he has been traveling from Australia to Papua New Guinea, he has been dragging his crew through a variety of environments.
I know that we have a lot of things on the go. We have Australia Creek, we have Dominion now.
Ranging from swamps to desert heat, in an effort to determine whether or not there is a method to earn a profit and possibly improve his ratings at the same time. Recent events have piqued his interest in Brazil, specifically the allure of the Amazon region and its purported wealth. It goes without saying that the situation is not limited to gold. Rather, it is a complex web of bureaucratic hurdles, legal ambiguities, and environmental debates. However, he is completely committed. He is currently working in conditions that would cause the majority of people to flee for a shower and a comfortable bed. He is mixing with local miners while under these conditions. Parker, on the other hand, views it as nothing more than another obstacle. As long as there is gold at the end of it, the dangers are merely a part of the experience. When it comes to Parker, one thing to note is that he is not a one-man show. Although he is the public face of the company, it is his team that ensures everything runs smoothly. These two individuals, Mitch, the mechanic, and Tyson, the truck driver, are responsible for ensuring that the plans are actually implemented and become something more than just a wishful notion. Although some people may characterize his managerial style as fear-driven and others as brash, there is no doubting that there is respect for the individuals who continue to support him. Not only has the no-nonsense and occasionally fiery manner acquired a reputation, but it has also resulted in the formation of a group of individuals who are aware that they are making history, or, at the very least, mining some pretty substantial amounts of gold. The mining industry is a difficult and expensive business that involves the quest of gold. The ultimate objective of mining is to recover 80,000 ounces of gold from the earth. However, the process is not only about making rapid rewards, it also involves the excitement of the chase, taking risks, and going beyond what anyone else believed was technically possible.
Yeah, I think the only way we can kind of get over this hump is to get a plan going. We could sluice a bunch of tailing.
The primary focus has shifted away from the conventional gold mining industry and toward the expansion of the business. There are a number of components that make up the drive, including expanding operations, making investments in cutting-edge technology, and developing a sustainable future. There is a clear demonstration of dedication at Dominion Creek because the property is enormous, the stakes are great, and the challenges are unrelenting. There are obstacles in the form of licensing requirements, enormous initial expenses, logistical problems, and a persistent doubt regarding whether or not the gold is even present. To counter this, each and every obstacle is merely another hill to climb. It is crystal apparent what the vision is: 80,000 ounces of gold. This would solidify the status of the individual as one of the most successful miners of this generation if it were to be accomplished. When it comes to conducting an operation such as this, every minute counts, and the clock is beginning to tick. It's not only about digging, it's about getting the appropriate personnel, the right equipment, and aligning every aspect so that when the dirt starts moving, it doesn't stop until the goal is accomplished. Only then will the project be successful. It is the most significant risk that has been taken up to this point, and if it is successful, Dominion Creek will be nothing short of legendary. The idea is not limited to the present moment. Rather, it is about leaving something that is more than just a bank account that is stuffed with riches. To be recognized as someone who broke boundaries, who refused to take the easy way out, and who altered the way people thought about gold mining is the goal here. There has already been a demonstration of interest in a variety of endeavors, ranging from television series to the exploration of ancient mining trails and the expansion of the footprint around the globe. There is always something new that attracts interest, whether it be the exploration of technology breakthroughs in mining, the exploration of virgin terrain in South America, or the taking on of some of the environmental difficulties that the mining industry faces.
300 would be ideal, but, beggars can't be choosers.
People who work in mining have a life that is rough, grueling, and full of experiences that the majority of people never get the chance to have. Although the stakes are always high and the margin for error is extremely narrow, there are certain people who thrive under the strain that they are under. Those risks have the potential to yield enormous benefits if they are accompanied by the appropriate team, plan, and a little bit of luck. The challenge and the thought that something is being done that so few people have the courage to even attempt are what keep this effort continuing. The money is not the only thing that keeps it going. For everything to remain at the top of the game, it is the drive and the need for more that is responsible. 750. The main reason it was hard to do was because changing wash plants was hard to do when there were already few hands available. As Tyson and Evan took on the job of moving the pieces of sluice fur to its new location, the story took an interesting turn. It wasn't just a jump that was being planned, it was a symbolic risk in the dangerous world of gold mining. Once sluice fur was taken apart piece by piece, sharing could be seen as both a risky move and a game of chance. People who watched this story grow as a dynamic journey had to think about what would happen with the operation and the luck that was going on at the same time. Everything that was done in the world of gold mining had the power to change the whole course of the season, even Sluicefer's seemingly random jump. The 45-ton wash plant, Sluicefer, that held the promise of $364,000 in gold hung over their heads. Tyson and his team had to carefully move Sluicefer so that the process would go as planned. To get to its new wash plant pad, Sluicefer had to go up a steep ramp, which was hard to do because of the environment. Tyson used the 750 excavator, which was the best one on site at the time, to help carry the heavy Lucifer up the hill because he knew it was a period piece. As the story goes on, there is an amazing scene of bravery as they try to get around their opponent. But behind it all is the dangerous operation. The shot was tense because of the way the land was angled and how rude the Washington plant was. The wash plant started to slowly but surely rise because Tyson knew how to use everything he had at the time in a strategic way. From the first few steps toward the wash plant, you could feel the stress in the story, and Tyson's main point made the already difficult task even harder. He said that his bucket would be used as a small wrench. He talked about how you need to be able to adapt and be creative when you run into problems you didn't expect. At this point, everyone is almost in pain from the fight and can feel the strain of the hard mental and physical work that needs to be done to get the Sluicefer where it needs to be. Tyson's smart use of the bucket as a makeshift crowbar showed how important it was to be able to think quickly and change to survive in the unpredictable world of gold mining. So the operation as a whole relied on the team, and how well they did in this last stage was crucial to achieving the overall goal of a successful season in the Dominion. If this last step is completed successfully, not only will the difficult task be over, but Parker Schnabel will also have the chance to reach his big season goal. The team's ability to deal with the difficulty of this important configuration determined whether the whole operation succeeded or failed. As soon as the work was done, the wash plant set firmly on the pad, giving everyone a sense of readiness and accomplishment. The construction of the conveyor and the hopper feeder was a big deal in and of itself. It was a clear sign that gold processing was about to start. After following this high-stakes operation through all of its changes and surprises, I couldn't help but feel satisfied. There was a promise of gold worth $364,000 off in the distance. The problems were solved, and now everyone was waiting for the next part of Parker Schnabel's story. This move could change everything for Parker. It could get him a big payday and help him beat the challenges of gold digging in Dominion. After finding $364,000 in gold, he was making smart decisions, like letting a new operator move the Sluicefer, which was the most important job. Using Sluicefer and Gold Rush has had a big effect on the show and the people who watch it. Sluicefer's demonstration of cutting-edge technology shows how the gold mining business has changed over time. The time was running out, and every second counted as they looked for the hard-to-find gold that would decide whether the mission succeeded or failed. Parker said he liked how the move was organized. After the rig move, the story went on to look at the day after. Everyone was so eager to hear the result that they stood on edge to listen. They knew that today's machine was the only one that could tell them how productive the whole season had been. The news of the golden sample led to both hope and disappointment. We called that sluicing. Parker was looking for a 5,000-ounce endonym to keep his business from going through a lot of trouble. He needed 300 ounces of water a week to get it. For the team, this was the last payment thanks to Parker's Vice, a 5,000-ounce season worth $364,000. After that, the count by the number of ounces showed that there was, in fact, a pileup that was different from the group's weekly goal, but still impressive.
All right, 20, 40, 60, 70, 110, 120.
Eventually, they will discover gold valued at $240,000. Consequently, what strategies did they employ to overcome their obstacles? How did they manage to function amidst severe weather conditions? As we investigate alongside Parker, he discovers gold valued at $240,000 on Tony Beat's claim. How it all began. In a brief period of time, Parker Schnabel and his team have never before mined more ground than they do now, following the completion of a deal with Tony Beats. Prior to the conclusion of the season, he must complete the task, and spring is considered the ideal